Thank you, good people of a great nation. You are welcome to the second segment of Development Focus with Jido Ojo on ITV. It's still the second edition in the month of July. Today is the 7th day in the 7th month of year 2021. And, it is said that God created us double, or there are two sides to everything. We have the male, we have female, we have, up, you have down, you have all manner of, somebody actually said, what is a unity of opposites? So, I just exited the Dr. Otive, who is a man. I have decided to have a beautiful lady as my second guest. It's a pleasure and honor to welcome Olufunke Ko on this second discussion segment. Funke is several things rolled into one. She's an academic. She's a doctoral student at University of Lagos, which happens to be my alma mater. She's a social media influencer. She's a newspaper columnist. She's also a gender advocate or women's rights advocate, as you may want to call it. So, Funke, you're welcome on the show.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, so maybe I didn't do sufficient justice to introducing you. Maybe you want people there to know who exactly you are.
Okay, my name is Olufunke Ko. Yes, I studied history and strategic studies from the University of Lagos. I'm still a student, like you said. I'm a doctoral student at the University of Lagos, same school. And I'm a woman rights advocate. I like to talk about issues relating to women. That is what even I write about. Issues related to women and what are we and things like that. So I'm also a writer. I also write, and I'm also a researcher.
Okay, I think you have filled in the gaps. Now, oftentimes we hear violence against women and girls. Can you tell us the different manifestations of this violence against women and girls?
Yes, violence against women is a gender-based, violence, aimed at, subduing women, depriving them of their rights, as an individual and also as a woman. You understand? And then we will see that this violence against women has taken different forms. You have the one of physical, assault. You have the one of sexual assault. You have the one of psychological, and then you also have economic. These are areas that women have been, deprived of expressing their rights as a woman and also expressing their rights as an individual. You understand?
So you told us about psychological,
yes,
economic,
yes,
and the rest of them. Now, if we want to break it down, can you give us examples of those?
Yes, the physical aspect has to do with something like beating, punching, yes, battery, And when you talk about the sexual, is having unlawful carnal knowledge of a girl child, of a woman, something that she didn't consent to, doing it forcefully, forceful penetration. That is what we mean by sexual, the sexual aspect. And when you talk about the psychological aspect, you quite agree with me that, when somebody is battered, it will definitely have a psychological, trauma. It's psychological traumatic. It will always bring out depression. It depresses the person, the victim. So that is what I mean. And then when you talk about economic, it's a way that it renders women financially incapable, of doing things. Sometimes, the woman is, wife is at home and the husband is saying, because you did this, I'm not going to give you money. You're rendering her vulnerable, financially incapable to do something.
Okay. Now, we have all of these manifestations. Let's take it from the girl child.
Okay.
There is high incidences of abduction
Okay.
of girl child. From 2014, we have the Chibok abduction. Over 200 schoolgirls were abducted. Later, we had the Dapchi abduction in 2018. Leah Sharibu is still there. She was the only one still in the captivity from 2018 to date. In the recent past, in fact, in the last 7-8 months, we have lost count of several other abductions that have taken place in Kankara, in Kagara, in Kaduna, and several others. What do you make of this issue of violence against girl child?
Yes, I feel if we have to look at it, it has to do with our society, the patriarchal, kind of society that we live in. And then I feel that, when the men try to do this, they just want to show that ego, that yes, we rule, we dominate the society. And then secondly, when you want to subdue someone, you can take any form. And so when they rape them, they make them vulnerable. They kind of overpower them. They are not able to raise, to lift up their fingers.
We have not even got into issue of rape now. We are looking at, you talked about different manifestation of violence.
Yes.
Physical, psychological, sexual, and also the economic. And I'm looking at these girls that are abducted from their school. That's depriving them of education.
Yes.
What happens during the abduction or after the abduction is in the realm of speculations.
Yes.
But my own concern is, what are the implications when you abduct school children, more so girls who have been sent to study? We are talking of over 10.5 million out of school children, many of whom are girls. What impact, what implication does this have?
Yes, the implication is that it deprives them of their right to education, because a girl child is also expected to go through schooling and schooling activities, and by the time you do this, you've only told them that they do not have right, to education. You deprive them of, their rights to education, and also you make them, less reasonable, because, and again, you give them, you cause depression for them, because they go through all this, they are deprived. They can't go to school. There's someone else. You just told them that, oh, probably women shouldn't even be seen in schools. That's what you're just telling them. Probably they shouldn't be seen in school, or probably it's even a crime for them to be in school.
Okay, now you and I come from the part of this country where not necessarily our part, but we have in many communities in Nigeria where the man will say there's no point training a girl child in school. Yeah. After all, she will end up marrying and giving birth to children. Like they said in times of yore, a woman's home is kitchen. Yes. It's her kitchen. So when have you had experience of a child or a woman who was deprived of education as a result of gender because she's a girl? And what kind of experience does that? If you have a family of 5 and there are 3 women or 3 girls and 2 boys, and the father decides, look, I'm only going to invest on the boys. You are going to marry off at some point, so you better start looking for suitors. What does that do to the girl child?
Yes, just like I said, it has to do with our probably cultural inclination and the kind of our societal lifestyle or values. You know, though the narrative is changing now, because people are beginning to understand that everybody is, you know, entitled to education, and they all have potentials, and potentials are not discriminately distributed. You understand? So I have a potential just like you also have. So nobody should be deprived, you know, of annexing his or her potentials, you know, for the continuity of probably societal growth and what have you. So I think the narrative is changing now. Though I think it was then, but now we have people who go to school.
Do you have anyone around you or you have met who was deprived of education as a result of gender?
Well, I don't think I really do have now, but I think I have had one where the girl was told not to further after the first degree. That, oh, what do you need this for? You understand? I think it's happened to me. You know, I was in the midst of a group of friends, and then the guy said, "What are you going to do with PhD? Do you need this? You're going to be..."
And what was your response?
You know, I just told the person, I said, I also have potential, and then I should be able to use it, you know. And because I love reading, I still want to further. But it came as a surprise to me that, oh, even
a fellow lady will be telling you, why do you want
why do I want to go for PhD? What do I need it for? Why don't you something you're going to be in somebody's house someday, and then then you'll be there, you know, doing this and that. Then you have to go further to, you know, and they oh, if you're going to get married, what about have you considered the kind of qualification the man will have, or probably would even want? Do you get it? So these things.
So the people are already trying to discourage.
Yes,
that you don't need to have one of those.
Exactly.
Even school start or
it's okay. Yes.
So that you can. Anyway, that's part of the challenge. Now, this year's March 8th International Women's Day celebration was Choose to Challenge. That was the theme for this year 2021. Choose to challenge. What did you, or what will you choose to challenge out of all of the violence against women that we have enumerated?
Yes, I was choose to challenge rape.
Rape. Why?
Yes, because if you look at it, it's becoming a recurring theme. You know, when you look at recurring theme, even in this issue of violence, you know, it has become, it's even widespread. You see it all over. There's you get to hear about it on a daily basis. So it's just like it's almost everywhere. You talk about rape.
Have you had this experience of someone trying to molest you sexually, or
no.
anyone that you know who has suffered similar fate? Not that they were raped, but maybe, you know, there are different level of sexual molestation.
Yes.
Rape is the ultimate, when you fall, when you have the forceful penetration, or, you know, even something, I mean, whether it's oral or, you know, otherwise, against the wish of the other person. Now, have you heard story of anyone?
I have heard
several. What has been the impact on their lives?
Oh yes, you know, normally it causes physical harm. Let's look at that. How about the sexual harm? Because while someone is trying to rape someone, you know, you want to subdue the person, and in that process, you try to punch or you try to beat, at least to subdue the person, and then it also causes, you know, mental harm. Because it usually have this psychological, you know, effect on them. And then you begin to they begin to tell you, oh, this person just, because it's this thing is done without the consent of the person. You know, you forced your way, you know, through, and then the person begins to recount that experience. How did this happen? I was just, you know, deprived of my right to even say something. You understand? Or to even, you know, refused, you know, to stop it. She couldn't really do anything, and so, you know, it has several, you know, psychological effects on them.
Now, Funke, sometimes last year, I think it was last year, Kaduna State House of Assembly was so worried about the issue of rape that they actually passed a bill which has been signed to law by Governor El-Rufai, seeking the castration of anyone that rape a minor. That if you rape a minor, then you have your male organ castrated.
Yes.
Do you support this kind of move?
I think I would. I do. The reason is this, because if you look at it, sometimes people tell you, oh, somebody was raped because she didn't dress properly or something, or over indecent dressing or what have you. But I've always looked at rape as, a kind of unbridled sexual desire. So if a man cannot control himself, probably the law should do something about controlling the organ.
But it's not only, no, let's be sincere with ourselves. It's not only women that suffer rape. Men has also been raped.
Well, I'm looking at what's about
Because
I'm not concerned about the women. Because if you look at it, the women suffers the more.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Do you understand?
But
the
we
women
must also let our viewers know that men could also be raped.
Of course, yes.
Men have also been raped.
Yes.
With the issue of sodomy, where men are having sexual knowledge of boy child, even in some religious circles.
Yes.
And even there have been situations of women raping some men.
Yes.
Although in isolated instances. So we must not lose sight of the fact that it could be both sexes. But it's still coming. I mean, Nigeria Television Authority is promoting no to rape. They call it STAR. Say no to rape and rapist or something. What do you think we should be doing to curb this menace of rape? The audit. I read this morning that in Niger Delta University in Bayelsa State, they are coming up with a dress code.
Okay.
Not even dress code. The school authority has said that there will be uniform for students of university. Do you think that's a desirable thing to show uniform in university?
I do not think so, because this has to do with us. Like I do tell people, every individual has a role to play. It is not just about having a dress code or something or conduct, but we need to really dig deep into the issue. The issue is this. Let's begin to tell people, oh, this thing is wrong. Let's tell the boys. You don't have to molest someone. You don't have to say, because usually they call us weaker vessels. Weaker vessels, whichever way they want to put it. But let's begin to tell the boys that we are also human beings. It is not about being weak. We also have men who are weak too now. But let's tell them that we are also human beings and we need to be respected. Women need to be respected. It's not just about having a particular kind of clothing or dress sense or whatever.
No, if you say it's about dressing, what about children?
Exactly. At least we see that minors are also raped. We hear of minors that are raped now. And would you tell me that it was because of indecent dressing?
I mean, what is in a child that
a 7-year-old child? And then you tell me it's because she didn't dress properly, or what do we say?
There was a story on one of the sister TV stations over the weekend, Newsline, where somebody abducted a man 30 years old, abducted someone from Katsina State, brought the lady to Abuja. This is a married woman. The girl is 18, married already. This guy abducted him from Katsina, brought him to Abuja, locked her up for 5 months, and daily raped him. Daily raped the lady. You ask yourself, is this how?
I don't think it's about the dress code. I think there should be a kind of awareness.
Awareness,
yes, to tell people that, see, when a person says no let it be known. Respect that opinion, respect that statement. When a girl says please no, let it be no. And again, sometimes some ladies will say I'm feeling cold. I'm feeling cold does not mean she wants sex.
Are you so sure?
Oh yes.
It's not a way of passing the message.
No, we shouldn't misconstrue statements. When somebody says I'm feeling cold, and I was at a particular program, and somebody said because she said she was feeling cold, so it meant no. It shouldn't mean. You don't assume for anybody. When a person says I'm feeling cold, it means she's just responding to the weather situation or what have you. But learn to understand what people say and what they do not say. And then secondly, let's begin to listen to victims. We can call it that way, because so many people they don't want to talk about their expression. The reason is this: because we are not ready to. We will always play the blame game part. Oh, why did you go there? Why should you have gone there? Why did you do this? Why now? When you went there? Why did you two sit here? Why did you? Let's stop that. Let's stop to judge people indiscriminately. You understand? Let's not judge. Let's be non-judgmental. Let's listen to them. Give them the space to talk to you. Give them the space to open up, to tell you, okay, this was what happened. This is this, or probably, our first sisters, believe them. Let's just use that word now.
Or give them benefit of doubt.
Yes, sir. Just believe them. Let them express themselves. Let them tell you what happened.
Okay, Funke, I've also been in a gathering where a register of offenders was opened. So if anyone was caught for rape or attempted rape, the person's name goes into that register,
okay,
and is made public, which is what we call naming and shame.
Yes.
It's made public, so this person is answering charges for rape and all of that. Do you think this also has a way of helping us to curb the issue of rape and violence against women?
Yes, because by the time they begin to show them to us publicly, not covering their faces, everybody begin to see that. You say you feel ashamed. Even if even when somebody does something not even as serious as this, not as serious as this, when they tell you, oh, even in primary school or secondary school, they say this person did this, you'll be ashamed. So let them do that. Make it open so that people can see them. By the time others are saying this, they will try to refrain themselves from doing that.
Okay, so if you are watching and you want to quickly join, we have time to take one call. The number is 0809-987-1989. We are discussing violence against women and girls with primary focus on rape. If you have, whether you are a victim or you know of a victim, and what you think should be the solution to this menace of rape and other violence against women, you can quickly call in. We can take one call before we call it a day on this program this morning. So as we round up, let's look at the bigger picture. The women face a lot of violence, even in marriages.
Yes.
And we have a cultural disposition of continue to endure.
I think
it's not good for you to be a divorcee and all of that. Do you think that is helping the case?
It is not helping.
Women who eventually, some have died in the course of that, some have become depressed, some have mental challenges. Should we be encouraging women who are suffering violence in their marriage to continue to endure?
No, we shouldn't. And then I want to bring in the religious bodies here. I think the religious bodies should do more. We have, like, I'm a Christian, and some of our doctrines will tell us that a woman should be submissive. You understand, sir? Well, I do not know what that submission means, but I want them to do more in this aspect. And sometimes a woman tells you she's going through this, and you say, keep praying. Prayer is not going to be helpful in that situation. Let them separate for a while. You understand, sir? Because this is about violence. I understand that faith-based doctrines, I'm not against it, but let's be real. Don't try to cajole these people, coerce them into submission. submission theory or whatsoever.
Okay, I'm told my time is up. I wish we can take you for a longer period, but 30 seconds, your final words.
Yes, what I will say is this: please, let's not shame people for their pains. You know, when you see someone who's been raped, try to help, and don't tell them why did you do. Don't blame them. Try to listen to them. In fact, you can lend your voice on their behalf. You can talk to people about them, and then again, the government should provide essential services, you know, to help them also.
Social support.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. That will be the size of our program, Development Focus with Judy Ojo on ITV this morning. If you have enjoyed this edition, please join us next Wednesday. This program is open up for sponsorship. You can reach out to us through the number on the screen, and then we would like to do business with you. Until next week, my name is Judy Ojo, and please stay out of trouble, and see you next Wednesday.